All right. So, well, I suggest we kick things off as the timing is quite tight. We have half an hour for our introduction and then, of course, the demo. So, Hans, maybe I'll give the word to you for the
For a
short and
brief
final
introduction.
introduction. Yeah.
Yeah, very brief. We keep it very brief. Well, welcome to this webinar from Dynavision. As being a companion ISV partner, we as companion organization, without giving you a sales pitch, are supporting well over 1,000 partners all over Europe, Microsoft partners. So with this respect, as Dynavision being a valued premium member partner, we have co-organized this webinar. The first webinar, quite successful, was the 7th of February with Dynavision, Advanced Item and Price Import, which had very good feedback, also results for Dynavision. So maybe for the attendees to look into that at the Dynavision website, what it could do for you. Today, we've got a second webinar with a long title. In the invite was how to take full control of the pricing and discounting mechanism in Business Central with the Advanced Pricing and Discounts app. So that is where the today valued Dynavision hosts are going to walk you through. Jens de Kolvenaar, being strategic partner manager at Dynavision, and Bernd Schaarsmit, the product lead within Dynavision. So guys, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Hans. Welcome, everyone. Also from our side, we're so happy to see that many consultants are joining us today in this webinar. Just so you know, we are currently recording this webinar, and everyone will have access to the recording afterwards. Now, I noticed that most of the attendees today are consultants, so I am going to limit my part, the sales talk, to the bare minimum. And I'm going to let Bernd shine today as the product lead of Dynavision. So my name is Jens, as Hans already mentioned. I am responsible for sales, marketing, and partner management at Dynavision. And the true star of the show today is Bernd.
Thank you, Jens. Yes, my name is Bernd, and I'm the lead of the product team that is developing the apps for Dynavision.
All right, thank you, Bernd. Now, if anyone would have any questions during the presentation, you can post them in the Q&A section of the chat. Now, before we go to dive into the demo, I'd like to tell you a little story about an ISV called Dynavision, but no worries, I'm going to keep it short. There once was a Belgian team of consultants that noticed that BC partners were building the same types of customization over and over again. And they thought to themselves, why not standardize these features and pour them into SaaS apps? That is when Dynavision was born. The team developed an app portfolio of about 30 add-ons for Business Central with a 100% SaaS focus, allowing them to keep the apps up to date no matter how many updates Microsoft might push for Business Central. The team decided that they should focus on the distribution and trade verticals as well as on the drinks or beverages sector, because we Belgians are, of course, very much known for those sectors, especially the last one. Last but not least, we are backed by Capital A venture capital firm that is currently supporting our further growth. Here are just a few snapshots of our wonderful team that is keeping our current partners worry-free. Once we start cooperating, you'll definitely meet most of those people, or you might even meet them later on this year at Directions in MEA in Vienna. Now, why do we do what we do? We want to empower BC partners on 3 different levels. First of all, we want to help partners achieve their go-live goals by reducing the need of customization, which in its turn allows you to deliver your projects faster and in a full SaaS setup. Secondly, we want to give you more sales power by offering an alternative for customizations with our app portfolio, and thus lowering the budgets needed for a BC implementation, while also making sure you gain a recurring revenue stream. And last but not least, we want to help you win the war on talent. Our entire app portfolio has been built around the simple principle that a junior consultant should be able to set up these apps simply by following the manual. This will allow you to train your consultants more efficiently while also delivering value for your customers. If you want to become a partner, it's very easy. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Just contact sales through the contact form on our website. You can find the link on the slide, which we will send afterwards. We then will send you a partner agreement that allows us to protect our IP and will ensure that you get a commission on every app license you sell. And once the agreement is signed, We will onboard you and you are all set. Here's just a quick glimpse of a few of our esteemed BC partners, which you might join when you would become a Dynavision partner. Now, to be able to support our current and future partners even better, we have created the Dynavision Early Adopter Program, which offers extra benefits to partners who are willing to go the extra mile together with us. This program is only available to a limited number of partners that truly believe in the Dynavision portfolio. So if you are a true believer, don't hesitate to contact us and find out if you are eligible for this exclusive program. All right, so far for the boring part. Now here's where it gets interesting. Of course, we're here today to demo the advanced pricing and discounts app. We created this app because we noticed that the new pricing experience in BC doesn't offer a lot of flexibility and possibilities to implement the preferred pricing policy for your customers. This is literally costing distributors, wholesalers, and retailers lots of money. Now, our advanced pricing and discounts app offers a wide range of functionality that helps distributors implement their pricing policy, gain control of their price calculations, margins, and so on. Before Bent is going to kick off the demo, I'd like to mention that this app is momentarily available in Dutch, French, and English. If you want this app in your country-specific language, please reach out to us and we'll gladly talk this through. Every app we have is available for a free trial in the App Source, and you can also find extensive manuals on our website that make implementing them child's play. All right, over to you, Bent.
So thank you, Jens. I hope everybody can see the presentation because I just switched to sharing my screen. So before we jump into Business Central to show you the real stuff, I will start with a few slides. So we introduced the advanced pricing app because we are using a Dynavision, the new pricing experience of Business Central, which is still a feature that needs to be enabled, but it was a choice of us to go for the new experience from the beginning. So in standard BC, you have some pricing functionality with its known limitations. One of the first things is that standard BC will always apply what they call lowest price or best price. So if you have a price list with customer specific prices or prices linked to a customer price group, it will always take into account all possible prices and then select the lowest price available, so the best price for the customer. With the hierarchical pricing, we introduced a step-by-step selection of the price. That means that we will start with customer-specific prices. We will look into the price lists. If we find a valid price, we will take that one, and then the logic will stop, and this price is the valid price on the sales document. If we don't find a specific customer price, we go on to the customer price group. We look there for the best price. If we find it, we stop. If no, we continue. So we will go step by step into the different levels of the pricing. The pricing you see on the screen is the standard we deliver, but you can also, over the setup, change the sequence of those steps. So you could say the customer price group has the highest priority, and then afterwards we look into the customer specific prices. So that's the idea behind it. I will show it in a minute. And what I will show also in one go is that the standard price calculation of Business Central is also based on the bill to customer. So if you make a sales order, it will look at the bill to customer for the general information for the invoice as the VAT number and so on. But the pricing will also be based on the price setup of the bill to customer. With the advanced pricing, we also introduced the field price from. And on that price from, you can specify another customer that is only taken into consideration for the pricing. So one thing you can do, for example, is select the sell to customer, and then you will have the pricing of the sell to customer, but the invoice will anyhow be sent to the bill to customer. And you can have some flexible setup with that. For example, you could create a webshop customer or an employee pricing customer so that you can flexible change the pricing mechanism on your sales document. So we will jump over to my Business Central setup. I created a new sandbox. I installed the app. By the way, on the Dynavision website, we also explain step by step how you can install a free trial in a sandbox or on a production environment. All the information is there available. I created, just for demo purposes, a simple setup with some items. And on the item A, for example, I inserted some prices, some specific customer prices, and some prices linked to specific customer price groups. When I go now to a sales order, I will create a new sales order. I will create a new sales order for my customer A I created. At the moment that a new sales order is created, automatically the pricing setup from the customer is inherited on the document. That's standard BC. And here we can also see that for that specific customer, I set the price calculation to hierarchical. So the other option is what we call the lowest price, and that is the standard Business Central pricing mechanism. We can set it up on the sales and receivable setup, or you can set it up specifically on the customer card. So if I select now an item and I enter the quantity, for example, I will see that it retrieved a price of 15 euro. In the fact box, there's also a sales price flow field. And if I click into here, I will see that for the pricing, only the customer specific pricing has been retrieved. So that's because the hierarchical function first looks only at customer prices. The customer had also a customer price group, but because we found already a price on the customer pricing, it stopped looking further on. So this means I could have a price of 15 euro, even although the customer price group could have a lower price. Second thing I want to show is that the bill to customer, I can now select another bill to customer. I will select the bill to. Of course, it will ask if the bill to customer needs to be changed and if the price list lines need to be updated. And here I see my bill to customer has a lowest price enabled. The new price has been retrieved. And in my fact box, if I click through, I will see in this case, it will take into consideration not only customer prices, but also customer price groups. And then it will take the lowest price for that. So I hope that demonstrated a little bit the difference between standard lowest price and what we introduced with the hierarchical prices. And as said, we also have now the field price from customer number, because I have now a sales order for customer A, which is the cell 2, but the bill to is another customer, and the entire pricing mechanism is directed to that bill to customer. If, for example, I now say I want the prices of the cell 2 customer, it asks me again to update, and now you see it falls back to the entire pricing setup of the cell 2 customer. So again, the 15 euros, and if I go back to the fact box, here again, I will see that it only selected a price from the specific customer pricing. Yes, I want to quit. Back to my presentation. The second thing we introduced is some additional features on discounts. So standard BC has discounts in percentage. We added 3 additional setups for the discount. So we can have a composed discount, 2 plus 3 plus 2, for example. This is not a 7% discount, but it's 2% discount, and then again calculate 3% discount, and then again calculate 2% discount each time with an intermediate value. And so in fact, this would mean that this is a discount of 6.84%. We can also do a discount amount. So you have one amount for the line, which is applied on the line amount, or an amount per quantity, where this amount will be also multiplied by the quantity set on the sales line. I can show that also. I will create a new sales order. For this one, I use customer B. Oh, customer B. Just because B is the code. I will select my item. We retrieve a price. I will set 3. So we see in here on the line, I have a composed discount method, which has been retrieved from the sales price list, because we can set those different discounts on the sale price list, and it will work with the, I would say, the standard pricing mechanism, or with the hierarchical pricing. And we see now it has applied a composed 2 plus 3 plus 2, which means 6.84% discount. It retrieves it from the sales price list, but I always have the flexibility to say, okay, I want to change it and I want just a €1 discount on the sales amount. So even I have selected €1 amount discount, even if I have a quantity of 3, it will only apply it once. And then the last possibility is amount per quantity. And if I select €1 here, it will deduct 3 times €1 from the line amount. So this offers more flexibility in the possibilities that you can offer for discounts. Back to the presentation. Another completely different thing we introduced is what we call the margins. So standard BC is using the value entries for calculating cost and margins and so on. It's a, I would say, rather technical and difficult functionality to explain to end users. That's my experience. There are not that many end users that really understand how it works and how they should interpret the figures. And we had also quite some demands for an easy, straightforward margin on sales documents. So we introduced in the advanced pricing some formula-driven margin calculation, where we will take into account a certain cost, a price, and then calculate the margin. We can set a threshold that we can indicate with green or with red if the threshold has been reached, yes or no. And we then made also a closed loop with our sales price calculations, which I will show later. So if I create my sales order, maybe you have already noticed that there is some color on the lines. No, not without the T. I'm sorry. So if I select my item, and I will select a quantity also, we see that this value is in green because there has been a price calculation and it says I have a margin of 25% right now. If I will change my pricing to €13, for example, I immediately see that my margin is going down to 8.33%, and it's in red because I have set a certain threshold, in this case 25%. So I can immediately see if I sell something at a certain price, which margin I will be realizing on that. To get that figure, I will close it. We have some margin calculation formulas in play. So it's a screen here where I can edit the list and I can enter personally the price calculation I want to use to calculate a margin or to calculate a markup or whatever formula you want to use. So you just enter a formula with the word price and with the word cost, and that will calculate then the margin with the example values that we have here. If you want to, you can also play around and you can change the values to recalculate, to simulate what the result will be. So we offer those 6 standard calculations, but you can create your own. You can delete those and replace them with your own calculations. And then those formulas are added to a setup for the items, and that's how we can have the margin calculation on our sales documents. Back to the presentation. Last point I mentioned was we have a closed loop with the sales price calculation. In fact, the sales price calculation is a 2-step approach. First step is importing new purchase prices. I will not show that because that was the last webinar we did in February. The demo is as a YouTube film available on our website, so you can go there and check it out. So first, importing new purchase prices will then enable us to calculate new sales prices and insert them into the sales price list. I will show it immediately. That's the easiest way. So I have the price calculations. It's a menu where I can add multiple calculation formulas. In this case, I only created one for the demo. It's always the same. You will first have a selection of a specific item or a group of items with a price item group. So all similar items you will calculate the same way. You will put it into one formula. Then in the first step, I will retrieve my cost. And in this case, I selected to have the highest purchase price from any vendor in an active purchase price list. There are several options here. You could also say, okay, I want to retrieve the unit cost from the item card, or I want to use the last direct cost. So there are different possibilities here to retrieve the cost you want to use as a starting point. I will also do a rounding of that cost just to have a clean starting point. And then in the second step, we will define formulas to calculate one or more sales prices. So in this case, I will have one line to calculate a sales price for a specific customer. And on the two consecutive lines, I will calculate another price for the customer price group large and for the customer price group small. For the customer specific price, I will first add a fixed amount, and then I will apply a coefficient of 1.25 to calculate my sales price. And at the end, I will also do rounding to 99 cents. The prices for both the customer price groups, they will just calculate a sales price to achieve a certain margin, and in this case it will be 22 for the large and 25% for the small customers. This formula is set up once, and now I can, at each time I have updated purchase prices, I can report. And I will, for example, create new sales prices which will be active from the 1st of May on. You can schedule it, because if you have quite some items, it will take some time, but then you schedule it in a job queue and the result will then also be available. I get some feedback over all the steps that have been processed, but the most important thing is the result. The result is a proposition of the new prices in the standard price worksheet of BC. But the standard price worksheet has limited functionality, but we use it to have some checkpoint for the user, and then you can push those new prices into the new into the sales price list. Notice that I have a starting date of the 1st of May for those new prices. That's because I set it up like that in the report request page. And once I approve all those sales prices, I can just implement them in my price lists. Here again, I get some feedback. It has been adding the new price lists, and then you will also see that the new dates are applied. So if I go to the sales price list, I need some space. Sales price list, I go to my item price list. We will see that the new prices are inserted starting from the 1st of May, and the prices that were active at that moment, there we have automatically inserted an ending date on the 30th of April, so the day before that the new prices will be active. So that's the extra logic that we built in, so that you generate new sales prices and you push them into your sales price, and then you will set your existing lines which are in the system, which have been calculated previously, they will receive an ending date. So you don't need to do that manually. So that leads also to the last functionality, I would say. That's the price list management, as we call it. Everybody who has started with a new experience of BC has already noticed that there are some little features missing to easily manage all your prices. So that's why we also added, for example, on our item list that we can, for purchases or for sales prices, we have a list where we can manage them. For example, I see, oh, this price has no ending date. I can do a multiple select if I want to. I will do just a multiple select, even if it is now not that logic what I will do, but I can set now the ending date on those selected lines, and it will update my price list lines and also do the automatic validation which you have to do. And then in the second step, I could also say, okay, those are all old prices. I don't need them anymore. I can say, okay, I want to delete those prices, and I get the feedback that they are deleted and they are gone. So that's just one screen where we have some possibility to manage. We have some other features implemented on the sales price list, but this gives you in a nutshell an overview of what we mean by facilitating, improving the management of the price lists.
All right.
So this brings us to an end. I think we're just good quad timing, just within the half an hour. I know
Perfect
it's in a
timing.
nutshell, but all the info is also available in the manual that is on the website, as Jens already mentioned. So you can go there, pick it up, and if you have questions, you get in contact with us.
Yeah, you can maybe skip to the last slide already, Ben. For people who would like to easily go into contact with us, you can just scan this QR code and fill in the form, and then we will contact you as soon as possible.